Hello and welcome to another Science 9 crash course. In this episode, you're going to learn all about the rate of a chemical reaction. The rate of a chemical reaction is how fast the reaction proceeds. This rate of reaction can be modified by 4 different factors. But before we talk about those, let's talk about what happens during a chemical reaction. As you already know, the particles of a substance are always in motion. So for a chemical reaction to happen, these particles of different substances must collide with one another. So to increase the rate of reaction, all we need to do is increase the number of these collisions. The first way to do this is to increase the temperature. If you increase the temperature, the particles move faster and therefore collide more often. And of course, you can decrease the reaction rate by simply lowering the temperature. And of course, we take advantage of this by putting food in the refrigerator to keep it from spoiling. And of course, doctors keep organs on ice to help preserve the tissues. The second way to increase the rate of reaction is to increase the concentration of the reactants. If you have a higher concentration or more particles in the same area, the chances of a collision are much higher. And of course, you can lower a reaction rate by simply lowering the concentration as well. This is why chemists, if they spill an acid or a corrosive substance, they douse the area with water to lower the concentration or to dilute the acid. The third way to increase the rate of reaction is to stir or mix the chemicals. By stirring, this will increase the rate of collision amongst the chemicals. The last factor that you can change to increase the rate of reaction is to increase the surface area of the chemicals. When you increase the surface area, you allow each part of the chemical to come into contact with the other one more easily. To increase the surface area, you simply need to make the particle size smaller. This can be done with a mortar and pestle as shown here, to crush the chemical into a fine powder. This is why lots of fast-acting medications are in capsules that have fine powders inside. There are other ways to change the rate of a chemical reaction. Instead of changing a factor, we can add a chemical that will either speed up or slow down a reaction. Chemicals that speed up a reaction but don't take part in the chemical reaction or get changed are called catalysts. An example of a catalyst would be potassium permanganate, which is used to decompose hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. In living things, we have natural catalysts called enzymes. Enzymes speed up reactions within the body, and without them we would not be able to survive. We can also slow down reactions by adding a substance called an inhibitor. Inhibitors can be added to our foods to slow down their decomposition, and in plant seeds they have their own inhibitors, which prevent germination until just the right time. Now we're going to talk about a couple different types of chemical reactions. The first type of reaction that we're going to discuss is called corrosion, which is the oxidation of metals or rocks in the presence of air and moisture. More common terms for corrosion are rusting or being tarnished. Rust's real chemical name is iron oxide, which is a product of the chemical reaction of iron and oxygen. Here is the balanced chemical equation for this reaction. Corrosion and rust are a big problem for people who manufacture things made out of iron or other metals. To reduce corrosion, we can galvanize metals. To galvanize metals, you need to coat them with a thin layer of zinc. Zinc does not corrode very quickly. The process of electroplating is used to galvanize these metals. Electroplating uses electricity to coat a metal with a different metal that is in solution. Some other things that you could do to prevent corrosion are to keep it in a cool, dry place, or you can paint it. The last type of reaction that we're going to discuss in this crash course are called combustion reactions. A combustion reaction is a highly exothermic combination of a substance with oxygen. The chemical equation for combustion involves the burning of some substance in the presence of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water, plus some energy. We also have incomplete combustion where we get an extra product called carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is produced because there's a lack of oxygen in the combustion reaction, and carbon monoxide is a deadly poisonous gas. This crash course is now coming to an end. Thanks for listening.